controllers for the SEC-600-RAP. I'm going to go through the couple of things right here. This is your power supply controller right here. And in here you got three controls. You got your high voltage, you got your gun control, which controls the emission, and then you got your beam sweep controls that tells you where to position the high voltage into the pocket. Over here we have two fixturing controls. We have a rotation for planetaries, which doesn't come with this system, and then we have a shutter that opens up the shutter above the E-gun. Over here is your automatic pump control valves. This will go ahead and automatically pump down the system and also will raise and lower the bell jar. Okay, and then you can also put it in manually and be able to change everything that you see down here, as in like your roughing, your high vac, and your vent. Your 4-line is controlled by your onboard cryo, and I'll show you how to use that a little bit later. Over here is your Infocon deposition controller. This system has been modified for this to run your E-beam control. It will help communicate with this, so it will be able to regulate everything for you to have a good deposition. Over here is your E-beam rotation control. This tells you which pocket you're at, and it also talks to your deposition controller and tells it what pocket it wants to go to deposit to what material you want. Then back over here is your vacuum controller. You can see we're in 2 and a 6. The system does go into 2 and a 7, but because I've opened and closed it, it's right up here. But I'll show you a picture of one that shows it goes down much lower. This does have LN2. We have not tested it. It has everything to make it work, but it's an optional thing that we're just leaving with the system. This right here is your other deposition control that really doesn't work because of the deposition control of the IC5 that we have that I just showed you previously. And then coming down here you have a heater controller. That is another option that's not going to be sold with this system. It does have everything except for the heat lamps themselves, and that would be done by whoever purchases this equipment. Right here is the onboard. This controls the whole cryo pump for the system, and that's pretty much, you just let that run by itself, except for when you're first starting up. It will have a manual to tell you how to work that. Now, to make this work, I'll show you a pump down first or after our thing, but I'm going to show you how the E-beam works and everything. What we're going to start doing is turn it on. You got to turn on the high voltage, wait for it to click on, it will stay on, and then we're going to turn on your emission current. That turns on. Now with these both on, we can come right down here and hit start. Turn it back on again. Alright, what happens is because of this changing over, it's going to go to a different pocket to shut the whole system down, so we have to wait for this to find the first pocket, which is going to go right now to pocket 1. So when it does that, I have to go back over here, turn on the high voltage. Now you'll have to turn these on every time it changes pockets. Hit the reset and hit start. Now what it's going to do is it's going to go on a rise. I got it set for like 50% power, and it's going to take about a minute to get up there. Now you're going to start seeing this is rising up, and then we're going to start seeing your emission current rise up with it. And if you look inside the chamber, you're going to start seeing a glow. And the glow is going to keep on getting brighter, and then in the pocket, you're going to start seeing a glow in the pocket. Alright, the camera won't let us see the P in the pocket, the little glow in the pocket. So let's come back over here. And what's going to happen now is it's soaking for 10 seconds. It's almost down to that. Now it opened up the shutter, as you can see by the shutter switch opening. And you can see it's depositing over here by giving us a rate of 8.4. It's going to drop down to about 5 angstroms a second. And you can see that it's, by the chart right here, it's slowly coming down to that. And you can see that the power indicator is going to show you that it's regulating at a certain angstrom per second. I got it set up for 1,000 angstroms, so once it hits 1,000, it will shut off and then go to pocket 2. This also could be done manually if you wanted to, and all you have to, well, you would have to do is hit the F3, and you have a handheld controller here where you could raise and lower it. I don't want to turn that on right now in the middle of a process, but if you want to set it up manually, you do have the handheld pendant to do that with. Right now we're just waiting for this to get to a 1.0 on there. This also could be done manually too by just flipping the switch here. It has auto, off, and manual. So when you're running through the deposition controller, all you have to do is keep this on auto and it will automatically go to whatever pocket this tells it to. Also up here is for your beam. You can control your beam. Unfortunately, I can't show you because the video camera can't lock on there, but you can turn longitude and latitude. You can see I could turn, indicating on here. I could turn them around. Okay, coming back over here, you can see that both of the lights got shut off. This just went back over to pocket 2 or crucible 2. And this thing's waiting for the source switch. That means what you have to do now is you have to turn this back on. And it lets you know that you're ready for the second pocket, for the second layer. And all you have to do is then hit start. And now it's counting down on the source switch. And then from there it will do your second layer. And the way I have this programmed is that you don't want to bring the pockets up really at full blast. So what I do is I have it slowly rising a minute with the power to go 50% power, and that gets us somewhere close around the ballpark of saying what your deposition rate per second is going to be. Now if you look in here, you're going to start seeing the glow come up as the power is being applied. right, see if we can raise it to 50%. Now it's going to soak it for 10 seconds, and then it's going to open a shutter, and then it's going to deposit at 10 angstroms a second. There's the shutter opened up. All right, you can see right at the bottom of the scale, almost hitting a little below the 0. Now you can see it's regulating at 9.3 angstroms a second. Well, this is really the end of the video. You can really see that it's depositing. It's around where it should be. It could be a little bit smoother. If I could show you the controls of the beam sweep control, you can actually have it where the beam rotates in a pocket. It'll make it a little bit smoother. Also, having an insulated pocket holder that holds the material will be a little bit better. What I really want to show you next is how to vent the system. So we're going to shut this process off. Okay, I'm going to shut off the high voltage, and then we're going to shut off the ion gauge. Once I do that, I can come over here and I can hit auto pump down controller, and I'm going to raise up the bell jar. So what it did is right now it's just shutting everything off, shut off all your valves, and then it's going to open up the vent. Over here, between your gauges right here, this is reading your 4 line is A, and your chamber is B. So we're waiting to get around 730 torr, and then the bell jar will open. This is your chamber right here. This is your E-gun with your 4 pockets. Here are your high voltage feed throughs. Your lines go ahead and help with your positioning your E-beam. Okay, I can come down here and I'll show you. You can change the pockets manually by just flipping the lever, and you can see it going to the other pockets. That is pocket 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'll open up your shutter. And that's the end of the test.